Middle East, the homeland of petrol, the most valuable resource in the world. These barren lands, which were left to the Brabs after World War, were of no interest to anyone until 15 years ago. That is, until Professor Albert Jonga and Jahri made the first petrol discovery in these infertile lands. Once the world heard about this research that could be used in almost every industry, countries that had never even glanced at these lands came rushing in with various excuses. Since that day, war and internal conflict have never left Idil East. You are the one assigned by the Assam aliens, established to resolve the chaos in these lands.
Go and bring order to the cow.
Usian, once engaged in a hot war with Nerika. Usian, once aiming to become a global superpower alongside Nerika, had helped divide nearly the entire world into two opposing sides. Today, their presence in the Italy stems from frustration. For years, Usian's long-standing dream of reaching the cold seas was blocked by Nerika. That frustration grew when Nerika suddenly moved very close into the Middle East and began to steadily increase its influence over the region's valuable resources. If peace cannot be maintained, these two nations may once again escalate things, possibly leading to war. A war between superpowers is never just a war. If the fire spreads, we all burn. Urkis, once the ruler of the Idlis. At the time, petrol had not yet been discovered in the region, so the barren lands held little interest for other nations, and as a result, a relative peace prevailed. Following the collapse of its former empire, the newly established Urkic state now has only limited access to Idlis and its petrol. However, tensions began to rise when Nerika moved right up to its borders and formed teeth with Kurdian groups inside Urkis, disrupting internal stability. Already struggling to balance the pressure from a major power like Usian, Urkis now finds itself further cornered by the arrival of another global superpower.
Chinese are complete black box. With 1/7 of the world's population, Chinese has taken a quiet yet powerful interest in the Idil East. Its presence in the region is subtle, driven by strategic goals to protect its interest and counterbalance other rising powers. Instead of open warfare, Chinese prefers quiet, diplomacy, and regional partnerships. Perhaps the true owner of the desolate and barren lands. These people lived quietly, devoted to their religion, until the discovery of petrol. With the arrival of virgin powers, they suddenly found themselves in the midst of great chaos. Crushed by the wars, innocent civilians of Idil East were forced to flee their homeland and seek refuge in other lands. And just like for centuries, innocent people once again become the victims of war. Within a few months, all foreign powers withdrew from the region. The Brabs were pleased that all the petrol on their own land remained under their control, and that there were no more foreign forces in the region. Nerika was content, because they could purchase petrol at a fair price whenever they wanted. Usian was satisfied, because the neighboring Nerika was also leaving the region. Urkis were happy, because the minorities within their borders would no longer be provoked, and peace was finally restored. Wait, where is Ines? Oh, here they are. Joining the argument later, Ines read the existing treaty and signed it as well, so they are happy too. Congratulations, mediator. You ensured that petrol, the world's most valuable energy source, can be used globally without anyone going to war over it or oppressing the people living on the land where it's found. In other words, you brought peace. The Brabs are unhappy that all the petrol on their land has been handed over to Nerika and Usin. Also, Nerika and Usin are forced to work together. The petrol they have been given convinces these two rival powers to cooperate. The Urkis are very uncomfortable with having two superpowers right next to them. Feeling completely ignored in the region, Ines becomes furious and attacks you directly. You have no other choice. Defend yourself. Tensions are extremely high. The Brabs are unhappy because they can't control the petrol on their own land. The Urkis are deeply disturbed by the provocation of minorities within their territory. Nerika, Usin, and Ines are upset that half of the petrol is going directly to Assam, and that they have no say in the region, no one at the negotiation table that they signs the agreement. While Assam tries to bring all sides back together, Urkis begins to violently suppress the militaries rebelling within its borders. Ignoring Nerika objections, Urkis pushed forward until Nerika launches an attack. to prevent Nerka from taking over neighboring Urki's territory. Uzin supports the Urkis as these three countries clash. Aini seizes the moment and sends a massive army into Italy. Thus, World War III begins.